Let's build a discussion board. So you log into CourseSites, and under My Classes, you should see the name of your course. Click to go inside. Once inside, we'll land on the announcements page, right? We did that in week 1. We're building a discussion board right now. Where do we go? Into discussions. Now there's nothing here. Create a forum. A forum is what we call the whole of the discussion, multiple threads within a single discussion. Forum. So give it a name, general information, blah, 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 blah. All right. Now, you do have to scroll down. Don't mess with availability, please. There's no need. Just leave it. Don't mess with dates. Don't make your life overly complicated. Settings. Here we have to pay attention. Please leave it as viewing threads reply standard view. If you start messing with must create a thread, blah, 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 you're setting people up for failure. We want people to succeed. We want them to come in and join. Please leave standard view. Moving down to grading, absolutely. But we're going to come back to that in a minute. Alignments, don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. There's no need. Subscribe. Well, now I find this interesting. Allow members to subscribe to the forum. I personally would click do not allow subscriptions. If you turn on subscriptions, that means people can set up a bot so they'll know when someone's posted. The point of this is we want people coming back in on a regular basis, not just waiting for someone else to get started. People need to own this. And I say this for learners, second grade, all the way through graduate school. I recommend do not allow subscriptions. If you leave it with the default, allow members to subscribe to the forum, I'm certainly not going to bust you for it, but I would recommend do not allow. Create and edit. Now here, I think there's something you are going to want to click. Allow anonymous posts? No, please don't click that. That leads to trouble. Allow author to delete own posts. In a K-12 environment, I would not allow it. In higher ed, I do. Your call. But this one, allow author to edit, own, publish posts. I absolutely agree that. If for no other reason, it's typos, it's spelling. Sometimes you just don't catch it till it's posted and it's embarrassing. All right. Now, I know some people don't like that. They say if you haven't taken the time to make it right by the time you send it, it is what it is. Again, it's your call, but I'm strongly encouraging you to allow the author to edit own post. Additional options, allow post tagging. I would say no. I find that obnoxious. Allow members to rate posts. Again, some people like this. I find it to be very obnoxious. I find it to be the kind of thing that they use a lot in those 500-person undergrad courses. I believe it sets up too much competition. And the point of this, from a social constructivist perspective, is people working together, not trying to step on each other to get the most post rates from the rest of the class. I don't like it, but again, it's your call. But in K-12, unless you have a specific activity where it's going to be valuable, I strongly recommend you do not do this. But let's go back up to grading. Now, a threaded discussion in best practice is truly about students having the opportunity to engage with content and with their peers, to negotiate meaning, to share relevant thoughts and ideas and questions so that they're actually constructing understanding. That's a lot of work. That's asking a lot of people. And to not grade that is very uncool. It's unfair. So I am strongly recommending that you do grade the forum. Now, how many points? Well, you have to think about the whole of the class and how much this work deserves to be valued within the context of the whole of the course. If your signature assignment, your signature assessment is 30% of the whole course, the valuation thereof, because it requires so much time, thought, and effort, what do you expect your threaded discussions to be? From my perspective, I view threaded discussions to be somewhere between 25 and 40% of the work. They're that important. So let's say in my class, there's going to be several threaded discussions and the whole of the course is going to be worth 100 points. And by the time this is all done, I want the threaded discussions to be 35 to 40%. So I'm going to make each one worth 15 points. Easy breezy. All right, so when I'm done, they'll be around 45 points. Grade threads? No. Please don't do that. Don't do that. You're setting yourself up for way more work than it needs to be. That means every individual thread. No. Keep it within the forum. Grade, discussion, forum. Give it some points. Now, we already talked about the valuation of that whole thing. Show participants need grading. Click it, don't click it. It really doesn't mean anything. I leave it clicked. It's the default. Due date, don't mess with that when you're building. Again, dates you can go in and put later, but when you're just building, make it simple. Leave everything wide open. But now, guys, associated rubrics. Okay, here we go. This is important. You know, we in our classes always have some kind of rubric. You've probably experienced multiple forms of giving information about expectations. Research shows that having a well-constructed rubric truly is one of the most powerful devices for both motivation and for self-evaluation on the part of the learner, because they have a better sense of how it all fits together. This is what excellent looks like, this is what adequate looks like, and this is what is not acceptable. So I'm telling you, I want to see a rubric. Now, you can use an outside rubric. I've attached one as a doc. You can use that. You can modify that. But this is new for Blackboard. This whole add a rubric, build it in to the grading mechanism. And it works pretty well. So let me show you. And if you're brave enough, I think you'll appreciate it. Don't select a rubric. You have to create a rubric. Here we go. It's actually quite elegant, but there's a few bugs. So, as with everything in Blackboard, start by giving it a name, give it a brief description. Now, here's the default. 3 criterion and 3 breakouts. They go novice, competent, proficient. Personally, look up here, levels of achievement. I'm going to swap those out because I want proficient to be first. I want competent to be second, middle, and novice to be last. Why? And I'm going to change those terms anyway. Why? Because you probably, depending on how busy your learners are and how mature they are, they're really only looking for the best. Whether you're going with proficient or excellent or best or smiley face, whatever. Students know. Make it clear for them. Well, if they're only looking for excellent, I want them to focus on excellent. I kind of don't care if you look at competent or novice. Novice, which in my world means not acceptable, needs work. All right, save. Competent, which is okay. So, yeah, a 3rd, a 4th grader would be able to understand that. It has to make sense for your learners, for your audience. Now, I could add another row if I wanted to break this out, make it 4 or 5. I could add another column if I wanted more criterion. I think 3 will be more than enough. But notice it's focused on percentages. Make your life easy, guys. Points. Just straight flat points. Now you'll notice there's the option for point range, but I warn you, it's very glitchy. I have played with it multiple times, and every single time I try and build using point range, I run into a problem. I wouldn't bother. And to be honest, you know what? I'm going with 15. So if I want this to be with 15, each excellent should be worth 5 points. Look at that. I figured that out without a calculator. Da, 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 da. What's my okay going to be? 3 points. So what's my not acceptable needs work? Well, this is one place where a range would have been nice, or I could add a fourth one. I'm just going to leave that as 0. End of story. But formatting, that's not what I care the most about. Now, if this was an essay rubric, maybe, but not for a threaded discussion. Answers the question prompt. Now, best practices. You do not use a threaded discussion to post a question that can be answered in one factual sentence. What is the capital of Iowa? Well, boom, one person answers it. Pfft, you just wasted everybody's time. Discussion forums are for discussion, for creation of understanding through negotiation of meaning. So what would excellent look like if I'm going to post a question that is rich and meaningful and demands engagement? Well, I would want a response that directly responds to the question prompt with real meaning, and let's say 2 cites from our book, and I mean, come on, this is for 5 points, and 1 personal story that relates to the big idea in real life. All right. So if that's, and look, there is a spell check. If that's my 5, what's my 3? All right. You guys are teachers, you know, I'll break it down. So let's say instead of directly, that the 3 is, yeah, still does respond to the question, not directly, but they respond to it. Let's say there's only 1 cite, that's still acceptable, and 1 personal story that tries to relate to the big idea in real life, but isn't 100% on target. Okay? So 0 points would be doesn't respond, doesn't share an anecdote, no cites whatsoever. There. All right, finish filling it out. Again, be very specific. Let the student know exactly what he or she has to do to demonstrate to you that they're really there. They're with you, they get it. Organization, I would absolutely change to something like engagement or collaboration, quality of participation, something of that site. Grammar, spelling, fine, if that's what you want. All right, this looks pretty darn good to me. So I'm going to say submit. Is it okay? Yes, absolutely. I'm using it. Go ahead, assign it. Now I've got this here. I'll be able to come back and use this rubric again consistently. And when I come in and grade the form, boom, it'll be there waiting for me. I can click, 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 type in a few comments, and I'm good to go. It actually is pretty darn elegant. So what did we do? We clicked create new forum. Create forum, gave it a title, give it description. You can always come back and change this. I actually usually put my prompts in here, but for now I'm just making up something. So if my prompt is, we're reading books about the Mississippi River. Why was the Mississippi so important to 3 different groups of people who lived alongside it? Again, 2 cites from our book. And please tell 1 personal anecdote about a river or a body of water that was involved in you being transported someplace. I don't know. Again, I'm making it up. But whatever the criterion you're looking for, make sure it's in the prompt itself. Got it? And then, before I close out, copy it. Because you know what? You're going to want to repeat it in a couple places. So I've copied my content. My form is available. Stayed with standard view. Don't mess with it. Yes, I'm going to grade 15 points. If it's an outside rubric, I move on. If I'm going to create one, I built it here. All right, and pretty much everything else I did not mess with, aside from I do not allow subscriptions. You may want to. And I definitely do allow authors to edit their own posts. Click submit. Boom, it's built. But I'm not done. I'm not done because, let's go inside. Oh, and I should point something out. Wait, before I go further. Notice, because I'm the teacher and I built this, there's a little drop down so I can always go back in and edit. And I can go in and grade it this way after people have posted. I can copy it and then go tweak it, whatever. I can delete it. But if I want to actually enter into it, I just click on the title. Now, I like to create the first thread. I find that students are much more comfortable to be the first one to come and jump in and start posting if, and all I do is repeat the prompt. All right, let's say discussion, and then look, I just pasted in the content from the front page. Exact same content. Don't let it be different. It should be exactly what students already saw. This is what they're expecting. And now I click submit. Boom. So when students come to the discussion board, they see the description, the prompt, they click to go inside. They could go ahead and start a new thread. Some of us like to do that. Some of us prefer to respond to the repeat of the thread that's there. It just feels a little more friendly. Make it, again, think about universal design for learning. This way, even students who are a little shyer don't have to feel like they're the ones breaking the ice. There's already something in here. Now, last thing to consider with this. Where is this discussion taking place? Well, this particular discussion is going to happen in week 1. So why don't I build a link from the discussion board into week 1 to make the week 1 that much more inclusive and organized for my students? Haha, I think I shall. But I need to be in edit mode. Click it on. There we go, green light. Now I'm out of student view and I'm back into teacher view. So I'm building a link to a discussion board I already built. Nope, that's not content. It's something that's already created. It's not an assessment. It's not a test or a survey or an assignment. Assignment Dropbox, that's if they're turning in papers. Oh, look at that. Tools. It's a tool. It's a tool that I've already built. Now I'm just putting a copy, let's say a shortcut, a wormhole to it. Link to discussion board page? No. Use the second one. Link to a discussion forum. If you do discussion board page, what it does is it takes everybody back to the whole of the discussion board, the big long list. I want to make this easy. I want them to go right to the forum. And there it is for me to select. See the difference? If I do this, it's just going to take you to the whole big long discussion board. You have to search for it. Well, let's say it's week 8 and there's 400 discussions. You have to scroll. No. I'm going to send you right to the individual forum and I have to select it. There it is. Please don't create a new forum using this. Build in the discussion board, then build your link inside the place you want it. So yeah, discussion board forum, selected my discussion, click next. Hang on, we're almost done. That's the board, that's where it's going, but there's no content. Aha, remember? I copied my content. There, it's repeated again, nice and clean, super easy. So that's all I have to click, nothing else. Submit. Boom. I know it's a lot of work. Thank you for your time and attention.